Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video about a video I actually saw the other day, maybe it was yesterday. Anyways, about this guy who has been on testosterone for about, I think he said 8 months. I couldn't even tell you his name. But he did a video about the downsides, that he didn't realize the downsides of testosterone. Now, he also made a good point, like a clear point that, this is for him and he's living a stealth life and, you know, his own circumstances. But he did make good points, and I would like to talk about some of them. In my previous videos, I have talked about some of these, so I wanted to go ahead and just kind of condense it into a video. Um, Pre-T, you have lived your life a certain way. Um, Feeling a certain way about things, crying about certain things, having certain people in your lives, going to certain places, all these things. You've lived your life for, so long before you start. After testosterone, some of these things will change. Majority of these things will change. Your emotions, people that are in your lives, crying, that's with emotions, places you go, and all these different things. Um, Now I obviously live a pretty open life about my transition. In my eyes, I embrace the fact that um, my pre-life, it led me up to the point to who I am now. I think everything has happened for a reason, and I was born a female for certain reasons. So I embrace it, and I'm very open about it. Excuse me. Now, if I was to meet someone, I don't just say, "Hey, I'm trans," and blah blah blah. No, that's I introduce myself by my name, and if someone was to come across, that whole nother story. But I do want to say that we'll start with emotions. Pre-T, I was pretty, I won't say pretty emotional. I've always kind of been to myself. Um, I'm kind of quiet. You may not, you may not know, but people that personally know me know that I'm pretty to myself. I like to. An observer, so I, I don't say a whole lot. Out at places. I'm usually to myself unless I'm performing. But anyways, and that's not necessarily how I was, pre-T. Before, I guess, going through high school and stuff like that, I was a little bit more out there and, you know, more social, I guess. Um, so I think that has changed, and I'm not gonna say because of testosterone, but because the experiences that I've gone through in my life has led me to, of course, this point now. Um, I mean, my outlook on things are different. How I view people are different. Um, Life in general, I just kind of view differently. Um, as to before I started T. Crying, what I used to cry about, I won't cry about now. Um, I mean, all these things. Like, when you do your research on testosterone, it's obvious. Like, one of the side effects is mood swings, and when you first start it, you will have mood swings. Some people get very aggressive, like angry, when they first start out on testosterone. Some people, may get depressed. And it's different for majority of the people. crying, I hear, is kind of the same for majority people that have started to testosterone, how crying has changed for them as opposed to before. Um, but yeah, your emotions and your outlooks will probably change. Um, and it'll eventually, I mean, it changes the person that you are. Yes, I'm still the same person physically. I mean, yeah, physically things have changed, but this is still me. And I will say, I'm not necessarily the same person I was pre-T. I think a lot of things, not just physically, but mentally, have changed for me. Um, Relationships, obviously I was in one when I started, and we grew apart as people. Things that, I we grew apart, and that can happen if you're in a relationship pre-T and you start off on in testosterone. It can happen where you may not end up with that person because you will grow into someone that maybe your partner doesn't necessarily like and doesn't want that. Not to say that you never will find one, because obviously I did. And actually, that person, Lori, knew me pre-T. So, I mean, there are things that are going to happen that you may not, want. But if testosterone's what you want to do with your life, and, if this is who you truly are, then you have to embrace the fact that things may happen that you're not too excited about. And, honestly, everything that has happened in my life, I'm thankful for. It was hard at times, but it's led me to who I am now. What else? People in your life. Family, friends. Some of those people will probably go away. And it sucks and it's hard. But not everyone's going to approve of your transition, which is sad, but not everyone will approve of it. I've lost many people because of my transition. I will say, though, I've gained a lot of friends, and I've gained a lot of people that I consider my family through this. And so I think when one thing leaves, another thing comes. So it's a matter of finding your balance and finding out who you are, because your whole transition is exactly what that is, a transition from who you once were to who you're becoming. So if you like certain things in your pre-T life that you don't want to give up, you might as well embrace possibly giving that up starting testosterone. Because, I mean, hey, I'd love to see my family, but obviously I don't. And they were a huge part of my life. Certain friends I had, I don't see them anymore. It sucks. Shit happens. And, it's sad that they can't be around, but, it happens. Going places that, if I was to go back home now, I would probably get a lot of looks for who I am now, physically. I wouldn't, it'd make me pretty uncomfortable. And all these things are very true, and you need to understand that, like, transitioning isn't about, people recognizing you, or people, making just new friends. Because I don't care who you are, I can become your friend. You don't have to be on testosterone to talk to me. So I'm glad that this person did a video, because it is very true, some things aren't really talked about as much as they should be. And everyone does need to know that if you're considering starting testosterone, realize that there are downsides that will suck at the time, but at the same time, if those things wouldn't have happened in my life, I wouldn't have become the person who I am now. Um, so yeah, I mean, not just physically, but a lot of things mentally happen, and you need to be aware of that. So yeah, what else is there? Because physically, I mean, if you're thinking about starting testosterone, you can kind of see the physical changes and stuff. Um, in the research you've done, but other than that, I mean, mentally, all the changes that happen are pretty intense, and you need to be ready for that. Um, I mean, I always strongly suggest going to a gender therapist. That's what they're there for. So go go to a gender therapist. Um, Go to your nearest equality center or whatever, and they should be more than willing to help you out finding a therapist or whatever. Um, but go. That's I just strongly suggest that. Obviously, you kind of have to before you start testosterone, but go because it'll help you. I actually just started going to a trans group. I started last month, and I love it. I'm glad I still go. I still go to little therapy groups, and I'm glad I do because it still helps me out. So I just encourage it. Like it's the best thing, to talk to other people that have gone through certain things. Um, but yeah, maybe I should like cut the video, but um, yeah. So if anyone has any questions or is confused about something, hit me up or whatever. Do your research. That's the most important thing. Watch plenty of videos. Read. Go to your gender therapist and figure out what those downsides are and see if it's really worth it, because you're also spending a bunch of money. Doctors, blood work, buying testosterone and needles, um, surgeries, all these things are going to add up and it's very expensive. So before you think, hey, I want to transition because it's what I want to do, I mean, figure out, wrap your mind around what you're getting into. And if it's worth it, then fuck yeah, go for it. And I will stand behind you 100%. I just want everyone to be aware of what you're getting yourself into, and take as much time as you need. I know plenty of guys that talked about transitioning for years and didn't feel like it was right at that moment, and now they're doing it. So take your time. There's no rush. You have your whole life, and if you don't feel like it's right, then don't do it. Because just because you start testosterone doesn't mean you're gonna get popular or people are gonna be like, oh my god, be my friend. No, do it for your own reasons. My phone's ringing. But all right, thank you everyone. I'll cut this off. But yeah, thanks.